What if I told you that the Bible never says don't feel fear? That's right. Contrary to what many believe, God doesn't shame us for being afraid. Instead, he speaks into our fear with power, truth, and relentless love. Fear is one of the most human experiences we have. It's primal, it's psychological. It lives in our nervous system and shapes our decisions more than we realize. We fear failure, rejection, loss, judgment, and sometimes even success. We fear being exposed. We fear being forgotten. But deeper than all that, many of us fear that maybe, just maybe, God won't show up. Now here's the twist. Fear is not the enemy. What we do with fear is. You see, fear is like a warning light on the dashboard of your soul. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means something's trying to get your attention. And throughout the Bible, when God says, do not fear, he doesn't stop there. He follows it with something far more powerful, because I am with you. In Isaiah 41:10, God says, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. Notice something? God doesn't say you're ridiculous for being afraid. He doesn't say real faith means you feel no fear. He says, I'm here. I'll carry you. I'll help you through it. That's not suppression. That's transformation. Let's get honest for a second. Most of us don't live with fear. We live under it. Fear becomes our ceiling, our limiter, the unseen wall around our lives. It hijacks our potential and replaces divine intuition with emotional distortion. And here's where psychology meets faith. When we're afraid, our brain activates the amygdala, the part that screams danger. It pulls blood away from logic and dumps it into survival. That's why fear makes us irrational. It's not just spiritual, it's neurological. But God, in his brilliance, designed faith as a reset mechanism. Faith is more than belief, it's alignment. It's the soul saying, I choose truth over trauma. I choose peace over panic. Not because the danger isn't real, but because God is more real. And here's where it gets personal. If you've ever felt paralyzed by fear, ashamed of your struggle, or stuck in the loop of worst-case thinking, you're not broken. You're human. And God meets humans, not superheroes. Look at Moses. He was afraid of public speaking. Gideon, afraid of leading. Jeremiah, afraid of rejection. Even Paul admitted to showing up with fear and trembling. And yet God worked through them, not around their fear, but in the middle of it. Why? Because fear doesn't disqualify you. Faith isn't the absence of fear, it's obedience in the presence of it. Some of us have been waiting for fear to leave before we move forward. But the truth is, sometimes God calls you to move while you're still shaking. He calls you to step while your knees are knocking, because that's where faith grows, not in comfort, but in collision. And here's where divine intuition steps in. God still speaks, but fear can make his voice hard to hear. It drowns him out with what ifs and I can't. But when you pause, when you breathe, when you listen, you'll notice that still small voice saying, I've gone ahead of you. You're not alone. Keep going. When you walk by fear, life becomes survival. When you walk by faith, life becomes purpose. And purpose will pull you out of panic every single time. Success, it's not found in avoiding risk. It's found in obeying despite the risk. Prosperity, it flows not from perfect conditions, but from persistent faith. And healing, that happens when you stop using fear as a shelter and start trusting God as your refuge. So here's the challenge. Don't pray for fear to disappear. Pray for faith to rise higher. Don't wait for perfect peace to move. Move and peace will follow. Because fear will always knock, but faith decides who gets to come in. The Bible doesn't shame fear, it transcends it. And maybe what God's really asking isn't, are you afraid? But rather, will you trust me anyway? So I'll leave you with this. What would your life look like if fear no longer made your decisions? And what if the very place you feel fear the most is the exact place God plans to meet you next?